What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Daily here from Nation Fusion, and today we have a new episode of the Codec for you. Joined as always for the Codec with Yong, yeah?
What's up, everybody? It's Yong here, and welcome to another episode of the Codec. We got a lot to talk about, so, let's dive right into it.
I never get bored of your intro.
It's great. It's really great.
It's good. I'm glad.
And also, guys, KorruptRonin here.
What's up, guys? KorruptRonin here. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Codec. Happy to be here as always. I do apologize for missing the last episode. Unfortunately, the times clashed with my regular streaming schedule, so I had to kind of bounce out on that one. But I'm here now, so don't hate me, please.
I don't think anybody hates you, man. It was good. Me and Yong had a nice, good talk, and I watched the interview, and I was a little disappointed with my performance. I was a little
Really?
I was a little too excited, talking to you.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of let my feelings get the better of me.
You seemed fine to me.
I watched the interview and I felt like I was more relaxed talking to David Hayter than Yong. So
Well, that's an honor.
It was
big
weird,
honor.
but yeah, it was a fun time. We had a long discussion. It was, I believe, an hour and a half long, and we did a pre-show, kind of like what we're doing today.
Daily, the audience is saying to cut down the music. The music is too loud.
Is
It's
there
drowning us out. Yeah,
There's still music?
I think so.
Oh, here we go. All right, well, there we go, guys. Sorry about that. I'll re-intro real quick just in case. What's up, everybody? Daily here from Nation Fusion, and today we have a new episode of the Codec for you, joined as always by Yong Yeah.
Oh, we're doing this again? What's up, everybody? It's Yong here, and welcome to another episode of the Codec. I forgot the exact words I said before, something about diving into it, so let's dive right into it.
And as always, KorruptRonin.
What's going on, guys? KorruptRonin here, and like I said, I missed last week's episode, so don't hate me. Just don't. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
Everything's all good now. Yeah, we just want to do that over, man. If they couldn't hear us, that's we want to give them the full experience of the Codec. So today's episode, guys, is a little different. We don't have an interview guest. I guess it's not that different. We've not had a guest on here before, but it's the weekend of a holiday, so we want to just do a cast for you guys, let you in on some news and updates going on around in the gaming world, and let you know what we have coming up for you in this interview schedule, which is quite impressive. We've all been doing some good work here to get the interview schedule lined up for you guys and make sure we've got some killer guests for you. But today's topics of discussion, we're going to start out with one of the hot topics right now, the PC version of Arkham Knight. I believe, Yong, have you played the Arkham Knight at all?
Yeah, I have the PC version on this very computer, and I have this awesome graphics card, and it's still not playing well for some reason. So,
Well, I think that's perfect. I think we should start with you. I watched Ronin's Ninja Stars Not Included cast last Sunday, and he had a special guest, Shadow Gift over there, and he was saying that his graphics card isn't necessarily top of the line, and it runs it fairly well. But I had an opinion on that, and I think a lot of studios, like when they're testing these graphics cards and stuff, they get some of the popular ones out there and make sure they work very well on those. So it might have been, his card was one of the ones that they tested it on. I'm not sure what kind of cards you have, Young. You can tell us here in a second. But I feel like that might be some of the issues, is they don't test, nearly enough as the range of things that they have to test on as far as hardware goes. So tell us a little bit about your experience on PC. I have not played it for this particular reason. I watched an early preview of the game from a reviewer, and he said if you are planning on getting it on PC, wait, don't get it right now. And so I've waited to get it. So tell us a little bit about it. What are some of the problems you have with it, and what kind of hardware you have?
Right. Well, first of all, my hardware, I got the 980 Ti, so that's the new one that came out just, like a couple of weeks ago. And the funny thing is, that's the card that got me Arkham Knight. It came with a free copy of Arkham Knight, so I'm like, oh, so it's got to play brilliantly, right? Because, fuck.
Because fuck.
Yeah, it didn't turn out to be that way. So the 980 Ti, it's top of the line, and it's the most powerful graphics card or single GPU out there, apart from like the Titan something.
Yeah.
And so it's a beast. It can play GTA 5 at 60 frames per second pretty much everything maxed out just fine. And then we got Arkham Knight, and it just stutters on multiple occasions when I'm floating around the city. And it was capped at 30 frames per second when it launched, and I had to go into the ini file or whatever and turn that on and change a few settings. I researched a bit, and you can kind of optimize it a bit better if you go into the ini files and change a few of the settings. But it's unacceptable that I have to do that. They would cap it at 30 frames per second to PC players who definitely have the hardware to, max the shit out of that game and play it at full 60 frames per second. And even once I actually changed the settings, I would still get some stuttering here and there. I mean, it wasn't terrible or unplayable, but it's unacceptable at a level, when I'm paying so much money for this PC rig that should play all the games, awesomely, like GTA 5. When you get Arkham Knight and it just doesn't play like it should, then it's completely unacceptable, and it doesn't look as good as the PS4 version either. I think
there was effects removed and things of
somebody in the internet pointed out that like the rain effects on the helmet, on the cowl, you can see the rain kind of dripping down on the PS4 version. In the PC version, I
saw it on Ronin's stream.
I think that's gone. That's just non-existent, and so and I think a big reason for that was because they outsourced the PC port, I believe, right, to some other studio. It wasn't Rocksteady, so the quality control wasn't there, and it shows. Basically, Arkham Knight, it's very playable. It's very, very playable, but it's not the experience that I paid, thousands of dollars for, for my PC. If I'm going to get a rig like that, it should play all the games. People should optimize the games correctly so that people who are hardcore gamers like we are can enjoy it in its entirety, but not the case with Arkham Knight.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I think Ronin, you may have some insight on as far as this PC port goes. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened? Because I heard you speak about it before, so I think you might have a little more intel than maybe I do. So
I got a lot of intel to talk about when it comes to the way this port was handled, at least.
Tell us a little bit about the way the port was handled. I'm curious.
So yesterday there was an article that popped up on Kotaku from a Patrick Klepek. He did some research about the shoddy PC port of Arkham Knight, and comes to find from the sources that came out and spoke to him about it, says that Warner Brothers, the publisher, they knew that the PC version was borked for months before the game even came out. The reason for that is, going back into the history of the development of the game, back when they first showed it at E3 2014, it was at Judges Week, a week before E3. They showed it off there, and the game, it was running on a console, it was running on PS4, I think, and people said that it ran like shit. It stuttered, it crashed every 5 seconds during the demo session.
Man.
So it definitely needs some optimization work. About a week after that, when it showed up in E3, it ran pretty much fine if you saw the PlayStation 4 demo they had the first time.
Yep.
After that, the game was slated to come out in October of 2014. They were trying to time it with the Halloween thing because there's a Halloween theme in the game, stuff like that. That happened, and shortly just before it became, the game was released, they announced a delay. Almost a year's worth of a delay. Come to find out from the sources, the reason behind that was because the game still wasn't running properly on consoles. So they delayed it all those months again and again and again and again to optimize it on consoles. But notice a common theme here, though. They focused all of their attention to optimizing it on console.
Right.
God, I can't stand the gaming industry right now, man. I really can't. Before you continue, let me just point out that for people who don't, dive into game development, when you make a game, you're making it on a computer. Like, it should work there first if that's what you're making it on. Like, it makes no sense to open up a program to edit software or a game on a console and it not work on the computer itself.
Exactly.
It makes no sense. So continue.
So going back into the story, it gets better. It gets better, trust me.
Oh, shit.
So with that focus on optimizing the console version, of course they had to offhand and outsource the PC port to a different studio. That studio being Iron Galaxy. The guys that, do Killer Instinct and Dive Kick. They outsourced it to them. Now, keep in mind, they're not a bad development studio, obviously. They know what they're doing, but the problem is that they didn't give them a lot of time to work on the PC port. and they didn't give them a lot of manpower to do that either, because there was so much focus on getting the console version to work. So because of that, they reported these issues to Warner Brothers saying, hey, look, this PC version is still fucked. I don't know if it's okay to release this game ahead of time, on PC at least right now.
The PC porters told Warner Brothers this.
Yeah, and they ignored it. They knew the PC version was fucked. They still released it anyways. And it's funny because after it released, Warner Brothers was like, oh yeah, we had no idea this happened. We're just going to pull the game off of Steam, though, and get these fixed. We swear we'll get them fixed, guys. And they confirmed that the game... They removed the sales from Steam, so you can't buy it directly on Steam anymore. You can buy it from third-party sources or get CD keys from third-party sources, but you still can't buy it directly on Steam anymore. They said that they won't have that on sale on Steam anymore until around fall 2015. That's when they can guarantee it'll be back up, or when they get these issues fixed up.
I know they had
it says that on Steam right now. If you go to the store page for that, that's when they expect it to come back on sale again for Steam.
Oh my gosh!
The issue though is, like, I think just last weekend, they had a small patch for it on PC. I think that patched in the rain effects.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys have played it recently. I don't know if you played it recently, on.
No.
Okay, yeah. From what I'm hearing is that they patched in the rain effects now with that with the recent patch. But yeah, it's insanity for the reason why this game had gone so long on PC without any sort of quality assurance guaranteeing that it at least fucking ran properly.
Right. That's crazy. Two things on this topic. One, I think that's incredibly shady. That's some of the most shady stuff that I've ever heard. Because when the game came out and all these reviewers were destroying the studio behind the port, if the studio said, hey, look, we haven't done a good job, if they knew it and they had no choice but deliver it, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason why Warner Brothers shouldn't. I mean, we'll talk about this here in a little bit, but it seems like Metal Gear is actually, taking a precaution in this by delaying the PC port by 2 weeks. I don't know if 2 weeks is enough time to do really anything, but for some reason there's a delay. But I feel like something like that would have been fine. Like if Batman would have came out on the consoles first and then the PC later, I would have been like, man, that sucks. But at least people wouldn't be getting bashed. There's reviewers out there who are destroying this studio who, I mean, according to you, like, doesn't really. I mean, obviously they have some fault in it, but it can't entirely be blamed on them if they said, hey, look, it's not ready. But
exactly.
Anyways, and then the second thing that's really crazy is when a game like this, that's as Young pointed out, expensive. It's $59.99.
Yeah.
You can get it on G2A right now for like less than $20. That's how, like, people are trying to get rid of this game. Like, it's when you see a game come out and it doesn't hold its value. There's a game, Rust, which has been out for quite some time. Rust right now on G2A costs more than Batman. Like, that's the supply and demand telling you that, hey, look, this game isn't doing well, and Warner Brothers should be taking note of that. Obviously, third-party sites and stuff like that always have a little bit of controversy when it comes to the keys and stuff, but the economy there doesn't lie. When you can see games that are very popular and doing well hold their value, the keys stay high, and then you see games like, for instance, Mortal Kombat right now, it's $59.99 on Steam, but you can get it on G2A for $14.
Yeah.
It shows you the just the level of quality that a game has to have to hold its value.
Yeah. And it's kind of a common thread considering, looking at what happened with Mortal Kombat on the PC, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that is another case of another shitty port from Warner Brothers, but it works fine on console.
Come on, WB, man, what are you doing?
What I don't get is
City Imposters was like the best game they ever put out.
Going back into like the past year of the games they released, outside of Mortal Kombat, you had Dying Light. They published that on PC. Right. That worked fine. Yeah. You had Shadow of Mordor.
Kinda.
Came out. Yeah. Well, as good as they could get it, at least at the time, right? They had Shadow of Mordor on PC. That worked fine for the most part as well.
That was good. That one was actually fine.
Yeah. So it's like, what the hell happened between then and now for the reason why you guys just stopped caring about the PC ports of your games?
No, man. I couldn't tell you. Let's talk a little bit about some good news, though, before we switch subjects. You guys have both played Arkham Knight, at least for a little bit. Yeah. How did you guys feel about Tasia Valenza's performance in the Arkham Knight? We'll start with you, Yang.
Yeah, I mean, she's one of the first voices you hear in the game. Yeah. And I played the first hour, and by then you will hear plenty from her. And I mean, it's Tasia Valenza. What can I say? It's her in the flesh. being her badass femme fatale self. She's got that voice. The super sassy yet deadly kind of just awesomeness. And no, she was excellent. I thought she was fantastic. And when she came on the show, we asked her about Arkham Knight. She was like, yeah, I can't talk about it. I may or may not be in there. And I'm like, you're going to be in there.
You're totally in there.
We talked to her during eFusion Week when you were at E3, and she actually left you a greeting. It was a really nice greeting. Me and Ronan both were like, damn, we're kind of...
Really?
Unfortunately, Hitbox had a problem on that day, and I have no video of the entire cast is lost, but I have the audio. So I'm gonna get you the audio clip, and I'm gonna let you hear it. But unfortunately, I lost my entire day 5 video cast. It's super disappointing because not only did Tasia deliver that amazing voice acting, we had her do a greeting to you as Poison Ivy, she not only did she deliver it amazingly on the voice, but the look that she gave you was so awesome. I'm so disappointed that we lost that, but I think you'll be able to hear it. We did David Hayter and Quentin Flynn send you a little message for views, and we had her do the same thing. So It's pretty cool. So as soon as I can get that to you, man, I will. Hopefully we can have Tasia back on the show later. In the year and check in with her, because I haven't played the Arkham Knight yet, but I watched Ronin stream and I heard a lot from her during his stream. So Ronin, what was your thoughts on her performance?
I thought she was fantastic in that game, and she kind of, during the interview we talked about, she told us about how Ivy has kind of a bigger role this time in this game, without spoiling anything. And although I think she did kind of spoil something about Arkham Knight the day of the interview that I haven't seen yet, because I haven't gotten 100% of the end of that game yet. I'm working on that to see the true ending.
Right.
But I think she might have let something slip a little bit
there.
Did she
throw a spoiler out that we don't know?
I think she did a little bit. The way she was talking about it kind of sounded like, I think she might have slipped.
Okay.
But it depends on how the game ends.
Okay.
But it's
you'll have to tell me about that when you beat it, because I'm curious. Like I said, I haven't played it, so I don't know what you're referring to. But I'm curious now. So when you beat it, let me know, man.
We'll do. But yeah, she has Poison Ivy definitely has a much bigger role this time. So you hear her a lot, and her performance is fantastic in this one. So props to her, Tasia, if you're listening to this. Awesome job on Arkham Knight. I'd love to see you do future work in other games. Even if you do come back as Poison Ivy, I'd still be okay with that. Yeah, she does a phenomenal job in that game.
No, that's good, because I thought, playing the first hour of the game, that she would just be the tutorial kind of character. But okay, it's good to know that she is, throughout the entire game, and that's awesome, because there are times when games, they have this one villain for this one tutorial portion, and then you never see that person again. And that sucks.
So that pretty much wraps up the Arkham Knight kind of section of the cast here today. There was some issues with the PC port that everybody here is aware of. Regardless of whether your game runs fine, it's across all PCs. If you have a game that runs fine on PC, I'm happy for you. Hopefully they'll get that fixed up, because I would love to play it. I haven't played any of the Arkham games at all. And I just bought the first 3 on G2A, so I can play through them. And hopefully by the time I'm done beating them, Arkham Knight will be ready for the PC. So there's that. The next thing that we wanted to talk about here was Fallout news. Now, this may be new to some of you guys. I don't know if you guys kept up with the news been out recently, but Fallout 4's map size has been discussed. Have you guys seen anything about that?
I've seen glimpses of it, but I haven't. I've been too busy with Metal Gear, so I haven't had time for Fallout lately.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of that either.
Great for first-time impressions. So in an interview that Bethesda did with some media company, it was a smaller company, I can't remember the name of it, but credit to them, whoever they are. They talked to these guys. It was a written articled interview, and the guy that they spoke with said that Fallout 4's map size is going to be about the same size, maybe a little more than Skyrim.
Actually, I think I read about that. They said, we don't want to quantify it because, map size can vary depending on, certain land masses and which ones you can traverse and, whatever. But yeah, I think I did hear that it's pretty much about Skyrim size.
Right. To me, I'm not necessarily upset about it, but I feel like when you have Fallout 4, coming out, and you have the announcement, and then you have the release date here, like this kind of information is important to get out, and up until that interview, we hadn't heard anything about it. To
Right.
me, it's I don't want to say alarming, but I would like to see. I would actually like to see it a little bigger. Obviously, I don't want too big because you can get lost in the expansiveness of the world. But I
Right.
feel like now that they're going to have, it's pretty much confirmed that they're going to have some type of transportation from one place to another, and obviously they have the fast travel. I feel like when you're starting to expand and get into this next gen of consoles and stuff like that, it's important that you expand at least a little bit. You know what I mean? If it's roughly the same size as Skyrim, I can understand that. But my issue with it is now that they've introduced this settlement building and they've offered you to do multiple settlements around the map, I would obviously like to see it expanded so that it makes sense to have these different settlements around the area as well as all of the other cities and towns that you're going to find as well. I feel like if it's the same size as Skyrim or about the same size, and there's as much stuff in it as maybe New Vegas or even Fallout 3 had quite a few locations, that
Right.
settlements might feel clumped together and might feel weird. Maybe walking just like 5 minutes or so or 10 minutes to get to another settlement. That might feel a little weird to me. I feel like it should maybe be a little more spaced out. But I'm curious to what you guys think about the map size. Does that bother you that it's that size? Are you guys mainly going to be going on foot, or does it not matter? Ronan, we'll start with you for this one.
I don't know. For me, because when it comes down to a lot of open world games, and this was kind of an issue that I had with Skyrim, it's a case of, there being the world and the map being so large and there being so much stuff to do that you kind of get overwhelmed and don't know where to start.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was the case for me in Skyrim for the reason why I had an issue with that game. And hearing this about this map as well sounds like I might get, caught in that same scenario as well. So it doesn't really bother me too much if things are too close together because I feel like it'd be a bit easier and streamlined for me to get into. Granted, there's going to be a fuck ton of stuff to do in that game, I can imagine. That's not going to change. But I do feel like if it's easier to get from one location to the next, I'd be okay with it. I do like the idea of the journey from, either walking or getting some sort of transportation to get from point A to point B, because I do like that when I'm not playing it on stream, of course. I like to, walk from one location to another in an open world game just to take in all the sights and stuff like that. So that sounds like a fantastic thing to have. But I don't know. It seems like they're carefully crafting the world around the story as well in this, based on the map size. So I'm okay with it not being bigger because I just don't want it to get to a point where it overwhelms and I end up giving up because I don't know what to do or what I want to do.
Right. Yeah, I think you make a good point there. In the case maybe like The Witcher, I remember when I first started playing The Witcher, I leveled up a little too quickly, and I left the starting area without completing like 10 quests.
Oh yeah.
So I understand what you're saying about having things to kind of spread out, and maybe you miss this and it's not streamlined enough. But I guess that adds to its replayability. Yong, what do you think about the size of the map and the transportation from settlement to settlement?
I think Bethesda's going for density over volume. That's the feeling that I get. Keep in mind that Skyrim is mostly land masses and hills and stuff like that because of the setting. It's this fantasy setting, so a lot of it is going to be like fields and stuff. With Fallout, it's this city, or what used to be a city. It used to be this sprawling city and was filled with roads and stuff. And not to say that it won't have these land masses and whatnot, but from what I saw in the footage, just stuff like cities look more expansive than Skyrim. Like, that's one thing that I was disappointed about personally with Skyrim. All the cities felt pretty small, actually. When you really kind of think about it, it's a dozen or so houses, and then
maybe was the biggest.
The what?
I think Solitude might have been the biggest, and it even wasn't that big.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
But I just looking at the footage for Fallout 4, these cities look pretty freaking expansive. And I think another reason for why they might have kept the size the same as Skyrim, despite the next gen technology, is because maybe they're making the world seamless, and that hasn't been confirmed yet. But that's the feeling that I get based on the footage that I've seen and based on some things that Bethesda has suggested. I think maybe by keeping it Skyrim size, you can walk in buildings without the loading screen, in cities without loading screens. And I think stuff like the vertibird, the chopper that you take, I think that's indication that it is seamless, because how would you, if it's not seamless, how would you use the vertibird to go from the field into a city, Right. It just wouldn't make sense to have that there if the world wasn't to some degree seamless. So I think that's what they went for, and I would be totally okay with that if that's true, because that's the one thing that Elder Scrolls games and Fallout games have been missing, that seamlessness. Or at least in Fallout 3. I think Fallout 1 and 2 you could go into buildings without loading, but there were sort of different sections within the map, if I recall. I don't remember very well, but Fallout 3 was like, it was Elder Scrolls. You hit the use button or whatever on the door, loading screen, and then you're taken to this other cell or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And it's a completely
I think
different
that
place.
you make a great point, man. I would love to see some more, kind of denser cities. I remember in Fallout 3, there was a place where you could go in DC, and it was kind of like a destroyed city block. Yeah. And that was like one of my favorite parts to play. You don't really get that in New Vegas. There's really nothing like that. Everything's more, towny type oriented, except the Vegas Strip.
Right.
But that's more. It wasn't as cool looking as Fallout 3's DC setting. So, I agree. So the last thing I want to talk about Fallout related is the transportation itself. A lot of people seem to think there may be cars or things of that nature. I'm actually leaning more towards that this year is the year of horses. I feel like there's going to be a horse or some sort of Brahmin type thing that you can ride. I don't think a vehicle fits in the Fallout universe as far as a car goes. I think the vertibird is obviously acceptable, but I feel like it would be weird driving a car around Fallout just because of the way the landscape is. I feel like a horse is maybe more suitable, and I think if they're offering you a transportation,
you're saying you don't want Mad Max in your Fallout?
Well, I think I do, but I think it would look weird to see that in Fallout. I feel like, especially the settings, the way they've portrayed it, it kind of looks more cowboyish.
Right.
During this setting here, and I feel like maybe there's going to be a horse or like a Brahmin or whatever the Fallout equivalent of a horse is for transportation. I'm curious what you guys think of that. Do you think we're going to have drivable vehicles in a game like this? Before you answer real quick, one of the points I forgot is if it's the same size as Skyrim or even just close to it, I think a car might get you from one point to another too fast. Yeah. And I think it might maybe eliminate the need for the vertibird. So I feel like a horse or something of that nature will get you there faster than walking, but slower than maybe the vertibird. So, Yang, what do you think?
Well, I say the more options, the merrier. I mean, and also keep in mind that Fallout has featured cars before. I think it was in Fallout 2. I forget what the name is. It has this ridiculous name.
Yeah.
But the protagonist
it's drawn a blank.
Yeah, me too. But the protagonist could use a car in it. I thought it fit perfectly in the world. I mean, the car had this distinct style to it. It didn't just, it wasn't a freaking Ferrari. I mean, it was this, post-apocalyptic looking car. And if they can manage to get the look and the feel right, I think it could work. But like you said, I think if it is Skyrim size, then it's kind of maybe a little pointless to have that there. Maybe the world might not be big enough to accommodate for a car. I don't think we'll see horses personally. It's too, fucking radiated to, horses to healthily,
You ever see this three-headed horse? What would they call it?
A Cerberus. The Cerberus horse. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. I'll go for that. But I think the vertibird is the main form of transportation. I think I don't remember where I saw this, but there was a bit of footage where the guy used the Pip-Boy to call in the vertibird. Yes. And so that's, I think, going to be, with that there in place, what's the point of a car, Although cars are cool. So maybe Bethesda, Todd Howard said, we go beyond. We do shit that we don't really need to do, but we do it anyways. Like the construction stuff. Like they really didn't need to include that, but they went ahead and did it. So maybe they're thinking, what if we include cars just because? We don't have to do it. Maybe it's pointless, but it's another option. It's kind of cool. Why the fuck not? But from what I've seen, I feel like they would advertise that if that was already in there. So I don't think personally that cars are going to be in the game, but you never know. Maybe it's a surprise. But I think the vertibird is more than enough to, for transportation stuff. That's, I think, more than enough. A car isn't necessary. It'd be cool, but I don't think it's necessary.
I think I don't know, Ronan. Let's get your thoughts on it first.
Yeah, sure. I totally agree that I think having a straight up car in the game would probably make things. It wouldn't fit. You would get from point A to point B, perhaps too fast. I think. If anything, what I would have liked to see come out of this, and maybe this is in the game, who knows, I would have liked to seen them incorporate the customization system with some sort of vehicle or something that you can create to help you get around from point A to point B. I'd be totally for that if they do that. It doesn't have to be a car. I don't need it to be a car, but like anything that you can make to help you get from point A to point B.
There was a mod.
With the customization, that would totally be worth that for me at least.
There was a mod for New Vegas, kind of similar to what you're talking about. It was more of like a motorized caravan.
Yeah,
you could set up your own little base in there for like wanderers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when you do your stream, you're usually going from point A to point B. So it might be nice to have something like that, so you can have your home away from home more or less.
Right. Yeah, I'd totally be for that. I think that horses as well, like Young said, I think the environment is way too radiated to have horses. Although I'd be all for 3-headed horses or 6-legged horses. I don't care. I'd be all for that in the game.
Horse.
I'd be totally for that if they actually pull that off. But no, I do agree that cars themselves probably wouldn't fit too well in the overall map size of the game world.
But I mean, let's face it, the modders are going to get all over that.
Oh,
they're going to make a car construction thing. They're going to put cars in there. And I'm sure Bethesda has improved their modding, tools. So, I mean, modding is going to be bigger than ever before with Fallout 4, I think. The cars are going to be in there one way or another. I can
have somebody mod in a Metal Gear Rex for me so I can just walk around the city.
Just put in the T-Walker. I'll be all right with that.
Yeah, there we go.
Wow, the throwback to the T-Walker, man.
No, let's get the Revengeance one in there. What's it called? The fucking spider Metal Gear. Excelsior or something like that.
Yes, Excelsior. That's like Excelsius, I think.
Something along those lines. Let's get that in there. Right, shit.
Wow. That would be absolutely crazy. Well, the last bit of Fallout news that we have, and I was going to save this for the wrap up, but we do have a representative from Bethesda who will be joining us on the Codec coming up very soon. We've got a few celebrities and things to talk to first, but I believe in about a month or so, maybe less, we're going to have a rep from Bethesda come on and speak with us about Fallout 4. So if you have Fallout 4 questions, make sure you save them up, write them down, put them somewhere, and save them for that episode of the Codec. It should be a great interview, and I think it'll be closer to the launch date, so we'll maybe be able to talk about more stuff as they release it up until then. Because Gamescom is coming up soon, and I'm assuming they're going to do something at Gamescom. So the last thing we want to talk about is Metal Gear. It's this is the Codec. We got to talk about Metal Gear a little bit. Yong, you were just in an interview video from Konami called "Through the Eyes of the Fox," I believe, or "Eyes of the Fox." Can you tell us a little bit about it? Obviously, I talked to you, before the show started, and you said you didn't really know what the interview was going to be used for. Now I'm sure you've seen it. Conspiracy theories are going crazy again. Eyes of the Fox, like, what's your take on it? Are you still standing firm behind We're Big Boss? And tell us about how the interview went.
Well, the interview went well, I think. They actually had I was there for like 10 minutes, and they used maybe 30 seconds of it, and that's fine because a lot of people said kind of the same things that I did, so they mixed up kind of who said what. And it was cool, though. I mean, it was cool to see my face in an official Konami video. That's always kind of cool.
Isn't that recognition you deserve?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I appreciate that. I was there, and they pulled me aside and said, "Hey, you want to do this little interview thing? We don't know what we're gonna use it for, but you want to do it?" And I'm like, "Okay." and that's it. And then I did it. They asked me a few things about, what makes Metal Gear Solid 5 different in your opinion? How long have you been with the franchise? What do you think the game is doing that's new and whatever? And I answered the questions, and then they took out, the good parts, and then they shoved it in there, and I'm like, whatever, I'll take it. But, so yeah, I don't know. Wait, is there some conspiracy theory going on here?
There's conspiracy theories going on because the title of the video is Through the Eyes of the Fox, and people are saying Big Boss only has one eye, Gray Fox has two eyes of the fox, it's Gray Fox.
Well, I mean, foxes have two eyes. Have you guys thought about that one? I don't know. I mean, just saying. A fox is an animal. God. It's not just a character. It's this animal, four-legged, and it has two eyes. Man. It's this thing.
Don't ask me. I'm not a true analyst.
And yeah, exactly. But I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a video released like just a few hours ago, and I'm writing a script about it right now, actually. And it's about it's this special edition promotion video that promotes the Phantom Pain's special edition that's being sold in Japan. Right. And they have these little glimpses of things that's in the art book, and they show character descriptions for Punished Venom Snake, for Quiet. Right. They confirmed the name of the Metal Gear. Hold on, I have it here. It's the Metal Gear ST something 80. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Metal Gear ST-84. That's what it's called. Oh, okay. And notice how that goes in line with the TX-55. So that's already a connection there. But so they confirmed all these things. And in the description of Punished Venom Snake, it talks about how Snake, trained with the boss, how he blah, 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 leading up to the events of Ground Zeroes, and now he's Punished Venom Snake. So Ground Zero Snake is not different from Punished Venom Snake. They are the same guy. They're the same entity. It's Big Boss. The description in the art book says so. I don't know how much more official you can get.
I think people tend to read a little too much into like the titled quotes, and instead of remembering that a lot of that stuff is promotional stuff to distinguish different, I guess, sections of bosses and Snake's and Big Boss's lives. So I think they read a little too far into that.
I mean, I'm sure there's some meaning there, but I don't think it means Big Boss isn't Big Boss. I mean, they talk about from Fox 2 Phantoms Were Born, stuff like that. I'm sure that has some meaning, and I'm not 100% sure what yet, and I'm sure we'll find out when we play the game. But, if you ask me, Big Boss is freaking Big Boss. If you watch the pamphlet video thing the special edition video that I'm talking about, pause at the right moment. You can read a little description, and it blatantly states, this guy is Big Boss. Just blatantly says it. So that's my take on it. But if you have other opinions, I respect that. That's just my take.
Okay, awesome. Well, I tend to be on board with you on that one, Young. Ronin, what are your thoughts on the? Well, before I get to you, Ronin, I got a fan question. I'd be rude if I just didn't ask. People were asking you, Young, if you met SS Sniper Wolf while you were at E3.
I saw her briefly. She also did the interview thing. And I was walking towards my interview, and then I turned left, and then I see her there, and then I just kept walking. And then I kept walking. I'm like, wait, is that, SS Sniper Wolf? And then she turned and walked away. And so I saw her for like a brief second, but she was doing her thing. I was doing my thing. So I guess I didn't have the chance to meet and greet or whatever. I did meet Angry Joe, though. Nice. He did an interview with Konami, and I was there when he walked in to do his thing, and I shook his hand, and I'm like, oh, hey, you're Angry Joe. And he's like, yeah, I guess. Stranger. Weirdo. No, he didn't say that, but he gave me this, oh, hello, stranger look. But so I met Angry Joe, and I briefly saw SS Sniper Wolf, and I met a few of the cosplayers and all the people that were in the Metal Gear interview. I met a lot of them, and they were at this dinner that we went to with Robert Peeler, the community manager, and it was, great times. I met a lot of cool people.
Awesome. I can't wait till the game is out so you can tell us all of these spoilers that you've got in your head. Now let's move over to Ronin quickly. Ronin, your thoughts on Eyes of the Fox, promotional trailer and the new theory that because foxes have eyes, that we're gray fox.
First off, when I saw the tweet, when Young retweeted it when it came out, I knew something was up with that video before I watched it. And I'm like, oh, let me check this out real quick. So I checked it out, and when I saw him pop up, I had like the biggest grin on my face when I saw him show up on the screen. But anyways, outside of that note, I think it's awesome that they're trying to get this one last big promotion out for the Phantom Pain, obviously, and I think that's part of the reason why this video came out. But the whole thing with the eyes of the fox and the conspiracy theories behind that. Oh boy. Okay. Everything, guys. Okay, everything. Almost everything, unless you have some kind of affliction, has two eyes. Okay, by default. By default.
By default, right?
By default.
Now in character customization, you have two eyes.
Now, half of the characters you can pick outside of Big Boss in that game have two eyes. Okay. So perhaps you play as some other character outside of that. You can play as different characters regardless, guys. Yeah. Okay. You can play as different characters regardless. So who knows? Maybe it's a secret character in the game you can play as, perhaps. But outside of that, if you're playing as Big Boss, you're playing as Big Boss. All right? Okay?
Johnny has two eyes. Are we playing as Johnny Sasaki or Johnny's great-grandfather or whatever the fuck? Diarrhea Kid, is that who we're playing as? Maybe. Hey, he has two eyes,
I'm playing as the soldier named Bondage Kitten. All right, that's going to be I'm sure there's a soldier.
That's the true protagonist.
They've got some hilarious alternate soldier names like they did in Peace Walker.
He was given the name Big Boss. He's a true character. Behind the scenes I went and I saw, that guy you were talking about, Big Boss. He's who we play as.
Yeah, we're playing as Large Boss.
Large Boss. Really large boss.
I want to play as medium-sized boss.
Some would say Grande Boss.
Grande. El Boss Muy Grande. That's what we play as.
El Gigante Boss.
El Gigante.
Yeah, according to Starbucks, we're playing as Venti Boss.
Okay, good. No, that's a good one. Yeah,
so that's that is our Metal Gear news, guys. Now, to wrap up the show, we want to talk about the interview lineup. As we stated, today is more of a talk show because it's holidays and a lot of the celebrities are busy doing their family thing. And I think if we were going to have the interview this week, he wanted to do it on the 4th of July, and I was like, I can't make my co-host go on the 4th of July. So the next guest that we have is Jim Piddock. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Who is Major Zero in Metal Gear Solid 3. It's going to be very fun and interesting talking to him because he is blatantly open and somewhat blunt about the, egregiances made towards him from Konami and the payment department for the returning character. So he's got some things and some stuff that he wants to say, but we are going to talk to him about that. We're going to talk to him about his career and how he views the Metal Gear franchise, because I think the last few guests that we've had on are not entirely too happy with the franchise itself. Right. With the exception of Christopher Randolph. I've noticed, and I really meant to ask him, and I don't know why we did it now that we've had him on the show twice. I've wanted to ask him how it feels to be like the only returning character besides the cameo from Laurie Allen that has been kind of teased.
The lone survivor.
From the flashbacks. Like maybe he takes the Otacon approach to everything and just kind of stays stealth mode in the background. he gets re-upped on the cast, but he seems to be the only returning character that we have. Like I said, with the exception of Laurie Allen, who may make an appearance via flashbacks. I think he's the only person that's returning.
Laurie Allen, I think she might. I'm getting feedback from your end.
That was.
I don't know if
we good now?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I think I'm good now. But I think Laurie Allen might be revoicing the Mammal Pod. Do you remember the can? That's what I think it is.
Oh wow!
I wanted to talk about that. I completely forgot. I wanted to ask how your trailer analysis was going.
That's part of it. That's part of it. But the thing is, Zero starts talking about the boss. I will unite the world, and the vision of the boss, whatever.
Do you like that voice better?
It's appropriate for the setting, which he's older and he's a little more evil, and in that sense, he doesn't sound as casual as he did in MGS3, where he sounded like just the Major Zero, some guy. Now he sounds like maybe kind of like a villain, but I don't know. Thing is, I don't know what Jim Piddock could have done with that. Maybe he would have done a better job if he would have had the chance to. So I don't know. But I like the voice personally. But, in terms of who I would prefer, that's hard to say. But, yeah, as soon as he starts talking about the boss, you see the can, the fucking AI can, the AI pod kind of zooming in. And then that to me tells me, Kojima did that consciously. So it's got to be that this can is the boss AI. And also, they said in Peace Walker that the boss AI, the mammal pod, is the only one that's been constructed in a way that it can be, what's it called? It can resist a nuclear explosion. That's how strong it is. That's how well constructed that is. Like it's been the outer armor can only be breached by a nuclear explosion. That's how strong it is, and the thing looks pristine.
Yeah,
I mean, all the other AI pods you can kind of shoot it and destroy it that way. In Peace Walker, that's the only one where Snake shoots it and nothing happens. The bullets just kind of bounce off. So I'm thinking maybe they recovered it from the water, from when Peace Walker sank itself. They recovered that somehow. And then you can see a little bit of rust here and there on the edges. That's something that I personally think and noticed.
Right.
And so I'm thinking it's got to be the mammal pod, and that's where Laurie Allen comes in. That's just my prerogative, but I don't know.
Good theory. There you go.
That's a good theory. That is a good theory.
Right. And, you also think that Godzilla's in the game, right?
I don't know if Godzilla's in the game. That'd be hilarious if Godzilla was a boss battle. Godzilla, a dinosaur, born from the nuclear whatever.
Hey, they did the Monster Hunter thing in Peace Walker, so why not?
Right.
Right?
I saw that theory, that theory video that was posted about Godzilla being in, and for a second, just for a split second, I thought it might be possible because there's like a mention of Godzilla in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah, that's true.
When you're talking to Zero, he's like, "Have you ever seen Godzilla?" Or maybe I think it's a paramedic actually.
I think they might. Who knows? I mean, that's not out of the realm.
Maybe he's hallucinating Godzilla.
Yeah, maybe they're hallucination missions. There's main ops, side ops, halluci-ops, or something. Halluci-ops. Where it's just trippy shit from Big Boss's head.
You heard
Godzilla,
it first
fucking everything.
Halluci-ops.
Halluci-ops. There we go. Trademark. Yong. All right, Konami, pay me.
Pay up.
Pay up. But yeah, no, that'd be fucking awesome if I could fight Godzilla, Metal Gear Godzilla, whatever you want to call it. That'd be awesome. Yeah, go for it, Kojima.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Right, so back on track, guys. We've got Jim Piddock coming on. We've also confirmed with two other Metal Gear guests, Debbie Mae West, who is Meryl. She will be joining us. I can't wait to have her on so I can go, Meryl! And I can't wait to talk to her. Because she also voices a lot of other characters throughout animation and stuff as well. So I'm super excited to talk to her. I believe she will be coming on towards the end of this. It's already to the end of this month, so probably not already, but I've already scheduled up till the end of this month. So
it's the end of this month already. When did that happen?
Sorry, I work in months ahead of you guys. They're in different state of mind. Halluci-ops.
Halluci-ops, yeah.
So yeah, I've already
that one.
Yeah, right. Let me get
$100 right now.
So we've already got a schedule of guests for the first kind of half of this month. But we've got Debbie Mae West, Heather Haley, which I've confirmed with as well. She tweeted us and said she was going to DM me some times that were good for her. So we've got two females coming on, possibly here in the near future. Both incredible characters. I loved Dr. Clark. And she has a bit of a backstory that I like to kind of get to know better as Metal Gear progresses. I'm curious if she's going to be in the Phantom Pain at all.
I think
I
she
haven't heard
has
anything.
to be. I mean, at this point, the Patriots has been founded. Zero's going to.
Do you think it's her though? Do you think maybe she gets to come back? And they haven't released a full schedule.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's hard to say. We should ask her.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking, y'all. I think we should ask her.
Exclusive reveal.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good question, but I think the character itself has to be there because she is a pivotal part to the Les Enfants Terribles project. So she's gonna.
I would love to see her maybe just in the tapes, even at some. And her specifically, because she did really good as a new character in Metal Gear in Metal Gear Solid 3. I was kind of like, who's paramedic? Where's Rose?
Right. Where's Rose?
She was a great alternative to Rose. So yeah, we've got her coming on. We've got Debbie May, who's obviously, like we said, Meryl. Meryl's one of my favorite characters. I loved her in the first game, and I loved her even more in the in the last Metal Gear that she was in, which was 4. She had that great scene with Johnny at the end where they're fighting off those Tengu. I believe that's what they're called.
The frogs.
Yeah, the Arsenal. Yeah, with the frogs.
The frogs.
Yeah,
the frogs.
The frogs. Oh,
yeah.
I was thinking Arsenal Tengu. My bad.
Yeah, I'm like Arsenal. What?
Yeah, the frogs, and yeah, she was doing that amazing scene. I love that scene. It really hits right here. It's a little over the top, obviously, but I think it was worth it. It was a great one. You're shooting all the way down to their last bullets together. I think that was an amazing scene.
Still pissed that Johnny marries or Meryl marries Johnny. For me, it just. There wasn't enough development there. I mean, they had a little fight scene, at the end. Fine, that was cool. That was badass. But I don't know if that was engagement worthy.
Yeah, right.
But whatever.
You rolled around on the floor and you got married. I guess
get
that's
ready
how it
to
works.
have a really stinky house full of diarrhea. I mean, you're gonna have to be cleaning that bathroom 24/7. Just saying.
Just keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. If a girl ever knocks you unconscious and steals your clothes, she may want to marry you.
Yeah, truth. Yeah,
Stranger things have happened, so I'm not going to rule that out. You can't rule that out.
No,
yeah. So we've got those two, but we've also got a few other guests lined up, and I don't think I've discussed this with either of you, Young or Ronan. So this may be news to you guys, but. I know you guys know about Doug Cockle. He's going to be coming on to speak with us. He is Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher. I think we've all played a little bit of The Witcher. Ronan has some mixed feelings about his performance in The Witcher, so he'll get to play my role in these interviews during that one. I'm excited to talk to him, not because I'm a huge Witcher fan, because I'm really not. I did like The Witcher 3. I thought it was a great game, but I never finished The Witcher 2 or The Witcher 1. And the thing that I like to do with these interviews with a person that's done 3 games, that's I like to talk about the progression. So we'll have some stuff to talk about with him. We also have Kimberly Brooks scheduled to come on, who is Ashley from Mass Effect. She is, I forget her name. She's in BioShock Infinite as well. She is the cowboy black lady.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking. I forget her name. I
forget her name.
Yeah, I gotta dig back in my memories for that one.
She's got a really cool role in that game. I really liked it. I don't think it was too expansive, but it was a fun role. And then she plays somebody else as well in I believe a Star Wars game. Okay. So yeah, she's got a few things under her belt, and I'm excited to talk to her about Mass Effect because she was my love interest through each Mass Effect. So I'm excited to marry her on the stream.
It's gonna get real kinky there.
Here we go.
We'll bang, okay?
Yeah. Oh man, I wish you could have been here for the Mark Mir interview. I really do.
Did he say that? We'll bang, okay?
Yeah, he did.
Yes. Oh shit.
He brought it up himself because we were talking about the fans, and he was like, "Oh, he loves how the fans do all these memes and stuff." And he looked right at the camera and was like, "We'll bang."
That's awesome.
Loved that. So yeah, we've got quite a few guests lined up. On the flip side of that, we've also got some cool gaming companies coming up. We've got Operation Supply Drop, who bring basically large care packages to troops overseas, filled with gaming consoles and games. It's like a large blue box. You open it up, and there's a console in there with games, and they deliver that to troops around the world. I'm going to be talking to them on an episode. We've also got the guys from H1Z1 coming on, which is a huge zombie survival game right now. I'm interested to talk to those guys over at Daybreak and talk to them about their departure from Sony, as well as obviously there's some controversy going there, which seems to be a theme for our show. We should call it the Codec Controversy Show.
The shit hits the fan show.
Yeah, shots fired show. Because there's some controversy around the pay to win and the freemium model that they have going on there. So I'm interested to see their side of the story. Granted, they've changed things way differently than how Sony had them. So possibly better. But we'll talk to them about that when it's time. And then Yong and I are trying to schedule Robert Peeler to come on the show and talk to us about some Metal Gear stuff. before it releases. So we've got quite a bit of content for you guys coming up these next few months. And obviously, as I stated before, we are still working on bringing David Hayter, Quentin Flynn, Paul Eiding, and one other guest on all at the same time to talk to you guys. More of an improvisation type thing, because I love that thing we did back in the day, the group therapy session. That was amazing. So we're trying to get something like that going for the fans as a Christmas present. So, with that pretty much wraps up the show. We went a little bit over schedule, but I think it was worth it. I think it was a great show today, guys. So before we close out, is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about or mention, Jan?
Well, look forward to the analysis. I'm writing the script, and that's always kind of the hardest part, because, you got to word things very specifically so the information comes across in a very specific way. That's why I never do an analysis where I'm just kind of sitting on a desk and talking while I'm watching, because it wouldn't convey the information appropriately. So I got to script everything and word everything exactly the way I want it, and I read it and reread it and whatever. So be patient. It takes time.
Less, do you think?
I'm sorry?
A week or more or less?
Less than a week. Less than a week.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be out. Yeah, still writing the script. And I'm writing up this thing about the Metal Gear, the ST-84, some new information on Quiet and stuff like that on that special edition video. So I'm making a summary of that. But yeah, look forward to more Metal Gear, and tune in on the Codec Fridays or Saturdays, I believe.
Fridays or Saturdays.
Yeah, a lot of great guests, a lot of great interviews, and thank you for all the support that you guys have shown thus far for this show, for this humble show of ours. And yeah, it's, good talk.
Ronan, you got anything else to talk about before we go? I know you got Ninja Stars Not Included coming up this weekend. What do you got planned? What you got going on?
So I already have the most recent episode uploaded on iTunes and Stitcher currently. I'm trying to get the video version. I'm working on the video version.
It's so bad that we're not on the Codec.
You can get on iTunes. It's not that hard.
On our iTunes. Have you guys noticed that? I literally just noticed this today. I don't know how I work here, because I just noticed that our logo on the show over here says the Codec. Did you guys notice that?
Wait, you didn't.
I had no idea.
You didn't see that?
I didn't make that. Look, I said, I went to my boss, Roger. Ronan, you probably know him. Young, you probably don't. But I went to him and I was like, hey, look, I need a new background for the Codec, because that's what we've called it. And he sent me this thing, and I thought it was just just a generic little logo just to look cool. But if you look at it, it's a T, and then the words Codec are in it with the O's and C's that all intertwined. I've never seen that.
I like how you called it generic at first, though. That was.
I thought it was just a weird thing. I thought it was like, okay, that's my logo now.
Oh man, that's great.
So thanks, Roger. You're
Shots
awesome.
Fired show.
Yeah, we're calling it from now on. The Shots Fired show.
Ignorance show for me. I just had no idea that we had that going on. Yeah, so the
podcast without borders. There we go. That's a good one.
Anyway, so Ronan, you've got that.
We got some content coming up for the podcast real soon. So if you guys want to keep up to date with that, you can follow me or subscribe to me on my YouTube channel, where I'll be posting more episodes of that up, the video form of those up pretty soon. What else was I gonna say? I have some more things to add, I guess. That's all right. Well, anyways, thank you all for watching, guys, and tuning in. I really appreciate the support that you guys have and bringing this to life and keeping this going. We would not be here without you guys. Trust me.
We would not. Now, to close out the show, guys, as you know, and as you can see, we've got to thank the sponsors really quick. We all have SteelSeries headsets on. SteelSeries is our official headset sponsor for the show. So big thank you to them for hooking us up. I think there's actually a SteelSeries rep here in the chat, Tori, I think. So thank you, Tori, for stopping by. We appreciate that. Control Freaks, as I said on Twitter, we will be doing a giveaway. We're not going to do it on the stream. It'll be after. So anybody who stays after the closing stuff of the show, you'll have a chance to get some Control Freaks. They're a grip that goes on your controller, PS4 or Xbox One, and thumbsticks that go on the top of the actual thumbsticks to extend the range of them. So if you're interested in getting a pair of those from our sponsors at Control Freak, by all means, stick around after the show's over, and all you'll have to do is click yes if you'd like to win one, and we'll randomly pick somebody and we'll send those out. And then Hitbox. We see Hawkeye's here. Thank you to Hitbox for helping make the show a reality and hosting us on the front page. You guys are awesome. We love you. Long time. So from Nation Fusion and the Codec, thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next week when we talk to Jim Piddock, Major Zero, about his life as a voice actor and how much he hates Konami. Ronan?
I'm sorry. Oh man, wow. Anyway.
Okay.
Right. I'm a great host.
Famous last
Absolutely.
words.
All right, so we're getting out of here.
Say goodbye.
All right, cool.
Sorry.
After that comment, I lost track of what was going on after that comment. I lost.
That's why people love our show, because we just say things, man.
Yeah, you just let it go. Shots fired from now on is the name of the show.
I tell people all the time, look, let me get my microphone so I can do my radio voice. We only broadcast on one station here at the Codec. It's 93.3 Real Talk Radio.
Real Talk Radio. That's good.
Did I blow your ear out there, Rick?
It was a little too close and personal. I was like, you were inside my head talking to me.
Yeah,
okay.
that's never a good sign.
I wish I could just stay on here for hours with you guys. Go ahead and say goodbye, Ronan.
Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. KorruptRonin is telling you guys to stay classy, stay sassy, and we'll see you guys next time.
Oh, I like it. Changed it up.
Ooh.
Young, yeah, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in, folks. I hope you guys had fun, as much fun as we did, and I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
Bye, guys. We'll see you guys on the next episode of The Codec.